We should be on. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Huh? Yeah.
Huh? What? Huh?
I can hear you just fine,
Eh,
Sal.
Sonny?
Yeah, Sonny? All right. If you're ready, we'll jump in.
Let's do it.
Welcome to Just Curious Media. This is Let's Talk Cobra Kai. I'm Jason Connell.
And I'm Sal Rodriguez.
All right, Sal. We are back for what?
We're back for another special episode? Is that what you were going to say?
You passed the test, sir. You passed.
Right,
well done. Well done. This is an exciting episode. I happened to read an article the other day, and I thought we got to go and do an episode on this because it's similar to an episode we did back in the day. In that episode, let me just go back in the Wayback Machine. So I'll give us an effect here. There it is. So way back when, episode 61, we did an episode called Cobra Kai Spinoffs. And that episode was recorded June 24th, 2021, Sal. We were talking about spinoffs way back when.
We were ahead of our time.
We're ahead of our time. We're true mavericks in this space. So here's this article. Comes to us from Screen Rant, and this is the subject of the article. 5 Karate Kid prequel shows that could happen after Cobra Kai Season 6. So yeah, hey, I'm a sucker. I fell for it. I read the article, and you know what? I wasn't digging with all the ideas until there was one that was right on point. But I want our viewers, listeners, fans to have their own opinions, and I figured we'd go over this article, which I know you've read as well, and we'll just hit off these 5 things and explore if they're a good idea, bad idea, probable or not.
I like probable.
Sound good?
I like probable because, it's one thing if it's like, oh, that sounds great, but is it likely? Like you and I have discussed a Louis Anoush spinoff, right?
Oh my God.
Sounds great to
us. Green light
us.
it now.
Yeah.
Green light it right now.
But is it probable? Probably not, unfortunately.
No. Modern day Odd Couple. It's been a while since we've had that. That was a reboot of an earlier Odd Couple, right? Or it was a movie. So I want to give credit where credit's due. This article was written by Angel Shaw, published May 14th, 2023. So all we're taking is the top 5, not really Angel's take on each version because we can have our own take. But if you're ready, we'll jump in and we'll do it like Dave Letterman, top 10. Yep. We'll go 5 to 1. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. All right. So the 5th one, of course, I've lost you on screen for whatever reason. So hopefully you come back. But I know you're there. I know you're there, and I'm not going to worry about it.
I see you.
Okay.
I see you.
Oh, hey, that's good. That's half of it. All right. So let me scroll down on your end as well. Okay. Number 5. Hang on a second. Number 5. I had some music playing in my ear there. That was annoying. A Cobra Kai prequel set in the 1980s.
We got like 3 years there, right? Right? 3 years before the All Valley 84?
Yep. You have 3 years. So you would see young Johnny. We'd probably see his first 2 All Valleys, right? Before he was going for the 3-peat.
You'd see him starting to date Ellie.
Yep. You'd see Daryl Vidal win a title.
Wow.
I like that. I'm liking some of this, but in a younger John Kreese.
Well, it's not that much younger, though. It's only like 2-3 years younger.
Exactly. Right? And we've already seen a much younger John Kreese thanks to Cobra Kai.
Yes.
So I know it is trying to squeeze it in there. You could do 70s, 80s. I mean, you could take it from where Cobra Kai left off with Terry Silver and Kreese, like right before they made Cobra Kai, bigger. We could jump into the 70s.
Oh, right after Vietnam. Right after Vietnam until the 84.
Back and you start opening the dojos.
So hang on, that's like Jason. That's like a good 10 years. Let's say 74 to 84, right?
Oh, I like that. Yeah,
that's good 10 years.
This is not saying that, but we're expounding on it and changing it. So yeah. Although probably not.
Probably not,
You
because
know?
I think
Probably
it hits a little too close to the original Karate Kid. It's a little too close to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And you'd have to start really embellishing some stories. I mean, listen, it'd be cool just to spend these few years learning all the Cobra Kais from the Karate Kid. We could learn about Dutch and Bobby and Tommy and Jimmy. That's kind of cool, but it feels almost like a chapter, not a series. You know,
Yeah.
I would settle for flashbacks of them younger.
I like that.
That'd be
Yeah.
kind of cool. Somewhere, sometime, like Johnny's thinking back, or another. You know what I mean? Like, but does it deserve a series? I don't know. But listen, if they greenlit it, Sal, I'm in.
But Jason, I almost feel like we should be giving a thumbs up or a thumbs down to these choices for the sequels.
I like that. So the concept I like, but I can't see it coming to fruition. So I'm probably going to give it a.
I'm going to
How
say
about
so.
you?
I'm going to have to agree. I because you talk about probability. I think it's improbable that they would
Yeah.
do that. Therefore, I'm
Right.
going to have to give it a thumbs down because I don't think that they would do it. That's why.
No. So give me some flashbacks. Let me see the younger Cobra Kai's, young Johnny dating Ali. Somehow, somewhere, in something, give me that. Okay. Number 4. A Karate Kid prequel following Mr. Miyagi's father. Interesting. Interesting.
I don't know if it necessarily has to be Miyagi's father in particular, as much as that time period. Right?
Yeah,
this is what we talked about.
To the well, no, our favorite thing is more specific. This is about Miyagi's father, his upbringing. We're going further back in time. How did he learn martial arts? This is truly the origin of it all, of Mr. Miyagi.
Because we've never officially met, like, even though we saw Miyagi's father in Karate Kid 2, we never actually officially met Miyagi's father.
No, we didn't get to know him. There was no flashbacks there.
Yeah.
So, this is more in the vein of like a kung fu. Like, it'd almost be like loosely connected to the Karate Kid because it's so much older. Cool. Listen, I'd love it. A martial arts, themed show that deals with a different era and a period piece. However, probability, I'd say, is low. Now, I say that with a caveat of this. If my favorite idea, which I'm going to hold, which those listeners who love our show know exactly what I am thinking about, talking about, are alluding to, is that if that show happens, let's say a spinoff happens, Sal, and it's super successful, well, then you can go back and revisit these probabilities because another show really successful, more things are going to get greenlit. But now, there is no spinoffs of Cobra Kai, and I'd say the probability of this happening next is low.
Ooh. Well, let's not forget also, if they were to go into a young Miyagi's father, they would have to go then into a young Miyagi, come out!
Well, and
young
Miyagi.
Sato.
Yeah, a young Mr. Miyagi son. So the Mr. Miyagi. So Mr. Miyagi Jr. But anyway, I don't think a show will focus on the father. But again, let's revisit that later. And maybe I'll pick up another thread as we go further on this.
Well, you know why, Jason? Because
what's your vote?
Well, hang on, Jason. See, if you're going to focus on Miyagi's father, I'm not against it. If you're going to focus on Miyagi's father, though, then why not focus on Miyagi's mother, too? Both of them, both parents. Who are these people?
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say, unfortunately, in probability, so there we are, unfortunately.
You asked for these thumbs up, thumbs down. So
I'm not...
I'm not saying...
It's not that we don't like it.
No,
it's that we don't think
it's a probability.
Yeah, we don't think it'll actually...
We're the studio and we're saying yay or nay.
Well, you're like, are we going to get 100? Are we going to get 50 million for this? Probably not. So there we go.
No. Okay. Number 3. A Karate Kid prequel following Daniel LaRusso's father. Oh my goodness.
Have we talked about Daniel LaRusso's father?
Well, we have definitely talked about his father because he did pass away before the Karate Kid even starts.
Yes.
And we know nothing about him.
No. We don't even know his name. We don't know his name.
A little bit on Cobra Kai, but nothing more. So if we got to know his father, and the article talks about this, maybe we'd see how Daniel was such a, as you said, prodigy in martial arts. Like his father had to be special because his mother's special. It's like, yeah, I get it. I could have used a flashback. Again, I'm going to keep leaning into flashbacks because I think we could have used one, right, on Cobra Kai. Like, hey, just to show his father, a young Daniel playing with his dad. But do I see a series surrounded by that?
No.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
Pass.
I'm going to say no also. I would say unlikely.
Unlikely. All right, that leads us to number 2. An All-Valley tournament prequel following several dojos. And let me explain. They're talking about after the Karate Kid Part 3, which was the worst All Valley in the history of All Valleys. And then before Cobra Kai happens, there's a big gap, Sal. We don't know about those All Valleys as well. We don't know a lot, right? Really. I mean, that's most late 80s, 90s, 2000s, all the way up to the first one when the show happened.
Yeah.
So
who won those All Valleys?
big gap. And you could follow dojos over that time. Obviously, Cobra Kai wasn't present, but Locust and all these other ones that we've come to know from the Karate Kid and Cobra Kai. Interesting, but that's like loosely related.
No, you know why? No,
foreign.
Jason, you know what I think the problem is? The problem is that even if they made a great series of those years, we don't know any of those people in there.
That's what I mean. You have a whole new cast, a whole new thing. It's like when The Walking Dead had Fear the Walking Dead, and they did like this is what I'm saying. Like when a show is so successful, and the Cobra Kai is, the Karate Kid Cobra Kai is, it could just spawn a bunch of things. So I'm not saying this is crazy, but to be the next thing, it's not there yet. We have to see a spinoff work. And I'm not calling Cobra Kai a spinoff because it's the first show. It's a spinoff of a movie franchise. But the next thing spinning off Cobra Kai has to be successful. And then who knows? Anything's possible. But I would probably say no on this for now.
Jason, I'm going to agree with you, but I have to say that with my own caveat. And that is that you and I are focused on a series spinoff, right?
Yes.
A series, as we know it on Netflix. Yeah. But what about like maybe comic books? What about collectibles?
Yeah.
Like recently in the world of collectibles, Playmates has Cobra Kai versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That does not exist anywhere where Cobra Kai is fighting Teenage Mutant TMNT, and yet in the toy world it's happening. So my point is, we might not see something in a series, but can it happen maybe in a comic book or in the toy world? Maybe. Right. Maybe.
Or in a lunch pail.
Yeah, there you go. Or in a T-shirt.
Yeah.
That becomes a different thing.
Yeah. I'm talking about the next spinoff. Spinoff meaning show. Series. Sure. Now, could we have a movie? Yeah, who knows? But none of these 4 ideas thus far would have been a good movie either. I don't think. So here we go. Number 1. And this is a good one. A Mr. Miyagi prequel show set across several decades. I don't even know if you need the second part. We all want a Mr. Miyagi series.
Yeah.
And that, to be clear, not Mr. Miyagi post the next Karate Kid. Although I'd tune in for that. We're going back to the early childhood of one Mr. Miyagi. Patmorita's Mr. Miyagi, not Mr. Miyagi's dad, also called Mr. Miyagi. And seeing him as a kid with his friend, who is Sato.
Sure.
Who I imitate on occasion. And of course, I think this is the top opportunity. I give it a thumbs up, first of all. Yeah. And I think that this really has the opportunity to become a show because it's not trying to piggyback off Cobra Kai. It's its own thing. It's also in the universe. And it may not even be the next thing, Sal. I wouldn't be shocked if we're just talking here. I'm just focused on this article, but just off the article for a second. I'm not even going to be shocked if some of the young castmates who don't leave Cobra Kai to do movies right away somehow did a spinoff of their own. That could totally happen, right? That really could. And their storyline goes on. But I'm thinking, like what was that show? Saved by the Bell College Years, which I believe you were on.
Yes,
Right?
I've worked on a
I
few
don't even
episodes.
know. Yeah, Sal Rodriguez starring in, but I don't even know if the whole cast migrated over or it was some of them because I didn't watch the College Years. I know Mike Golick, the football player, was on there, but I don't know.
Some of the cast was on, but I don't think all of the cast was on.
Yeah, all of them. So
yeah.
Was Screech? Did he make it into college?
I don't know if he was there. Remember,
Rest
that
in
was around the
peace,
time when
Jeff
Screech
Madden.
started getting involved in some unsavory activities.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
So I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'd say like this is a high bar. This could be a really cool. This is truly like, kung fu.
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
could see the origins, and you could see him falling in love with Yukie.
Yes,
right?
yes. I feel like they have their work cut out for them. It's almost like after Cobra Kai, our expectations will be very high for whatever they decide to give to us. Whatever they decide to, it's an honor. Whatever they decide to honor us with, we will have high expectations for, regardless of what it is. So I really feel like they better mind their P's and Q's and cross their T's and dot their I's on this, because I really feel like there's some pressure for them to deliver.
Here's an idea. I'm going to take this Miyagi series one step further. If done right, in the right hands, it could also be a great movie.
I think so. Yeah. After Cobra Kai, after where we're at in space of time, yeah, I do agree. I think it could be. But I would like to see it on the big screen. I would like to.
That's what I mean. I
don't mean like just a Netflix release or an Amazon release.
With this type of show, and Netflix makes big movies now too, but I mean the cinematic opportunity of the backdrop, the era, because, it would be definitely like 50 years prior or 40 years prior.
Like 1930s, right? 1930s, 1940s.
We could see
Okinawa.
him in the war. You could even do a trilogy. I mean, it's going to cost more and it's a bigger gamble, but I totally could see it. But if not that, I think a series, and you would also kind of know, like, hey, this is going to be 1 season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons. You know going in the length of that type of show, and which is probably better. It's not going to get crazy, and it can only go so far to the Karate Kid. I like that. It has, very strict parameters on it. But again, I love it. This feeds the fury of me wanting this. But not just you and me, Sal. We have a special correspondent to this episode.
What?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, this just in. Well, I'll let you tell me who it is in just a second. So bear with me. A little audio video connection here. For those watching, you can see this. The listeners, you can still hear it. Bear with me. This isn't the Wayback Machine.
I don't know who we're watching here. Oh, wow. Nice. Okay. Here we go. The man himself.
What is the young Miyagi story? Who was that teenager and that man in his 20s and who went to World War II and lost his wife and child, which is all part of the original Karate Kid film? And what led that guy in the history little pieces of the history we learned from him in Karate Kid Part 2 in Okinawa? What led this guy to be a maintenance man in a small apartment building in Reseda, kind of a mirror of what Johnny Lawrence started out with in the first season of Cobra Kai? So it's all ripe to be there, whatever it is. I would love to see it. There have been discussions, but nothing official, but I would love to. And I know Pat always wanted to dive more into how Miyagi became the man that we got to know.
Well, there you have it.
Dude, I almost started crying, seriously.
Oh my gosh. I saw that right after I read this article. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to include that in here. So, you have legend Ralph Macchio, Daniellarusso talking about it. He was huge part of why the show was successful, signing off on it, bringing back his likeness, passed on the next Karate Kid. And he's all into legacy. Anybody touching Cobra Kai is into legacy. So I really think, Sal, it's a home run. It's got to happen. And I just hope they do it right.
Yeah, and I would say at this point in time, I'm almost expecting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. This is what we're.
I'd be shocked if it didn't happen.
Yeah. Everybody, I think, everybody's ready for the final season. Everybody's braced themselves for the final.
Mhm.
After that, everyone is now, I think, will be expecting a spinoff. And I think this is the spinoff we will be expecting.
This is it. I'm also expecting Julie Pierce.
I'm expecting Julie in season 6. I really am. I'm expecting her in season 6. If they don't wrap up Julie in season 6, I don't know what to say. I don't think she's going to be anywhere part of the Miyagi-verse if she's not in season 6.
I agree. So that's all I got. I wanted to cover this, talking about spinoffs. I know the writer's strike has delayed the production and the release of season 6, but it's only going to make it just, we're all craving for season 6 when it finally happens. And spinoffs are around that corner, I'm telling you. So look for it. Let's go. Miyagi-verse continues. It lives on. The legacy lives on. And that's all I got, Sal. Any other thoughts?
Well, I'll just tell you this, Jason. Since I mentioned the collectibles arena, and I mentioned Cobra Kai versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Those were at Walmart, I believe, for sure at Target. Now, I just spotted recently at Ross. Ross is a discount liquidator retailer.
Clothes.
Yeah. Ross also has a toy section. In their toy section of Ross, I recently saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus Cobra Kai action figures in stock at Ross. So be sure to check that out, any of you toy collectible and Cobra Kai Karate Kid fans.
There you have it. Word on the street. Thank you, Sal Rodriguez.
I'm out there, man.
Well, please leave us a review. We'd love that. Your reviews mean so much to Sal and I. And I know it's a burden and it takes time, but it moves the needle for us in the show. And worst case, if nothing else, click the old 5-star on Apple Podcasts. Just takes like a half second, just a nanosecond. Do that. And check out justcuriousmedia.com. Here is the logo for those interested. We have lots of other shows. And Sal, what does Kreese always say?
No mercy.
Yeah. Good job.